Hey guys, how's it going? Today I wanted to continue with the theme of relationship with God. Because one of the really important things in our Catholic faith is to be obedient to God. Now, obedience with God is really different than normal obedience. And it does have a lot to do with how we ought to have a relationship with God. So, when we think of obedience, we normally think of some authority figure telling us something that we should do or what we should do or shouldn't do, and us submitting ourselves to that authority and either doing the thing they're telling us to do or not doing the thing they're telling us not to do. That's how we normally think of obedience. And the church is an authority. God has given the church authority over her people, right? So when the magisterium makes a decision, we ought to follow it. We don't always have to think it's the wisest decision, but we are bound to obedience. And that's a very particular relationship that we have. Like it depending on your role in the church, it takes different positions. So if I, as a layman, read a document written by the USCCB, I might not need to listen to every detail of it, the same way that a priest might need to, right? A priest has taken a vow of obedience to his bishop, and so he has to follow his bishop in a way that I, as a layman, don't have to. You know, that's one kind of obedience, and the relationship matters to it. It's not quite the same with God, right? God is clearly an authority. He's a higher power than we are. But the point isn't that God is a higher power. The point is the relationship. Because like we said in the previous videos, the whole point of our Catholic faith, of our life, is to have a relationship with God. So this obedience is really crucial to understanding what kind of relationship we should be having with God. And understanding that the obedience to God is different than obedience with other people or even the magisterium. It's distinct. When I got married, I understood that there were different roles in our marriage that my wife and I would take. Some of those roles are based off of our skills, right? My wife is better at cooking and taking care of the house than I am. And so that's the roles that she takes. Those are some of the things that she does. Those roles are clearly different than the obedience to the magisterium. So obedience to the magisterium looks like, oh, you have a power and I'm submitting myself to that power. The roles that my wife and I take in our marriage have to do with discussing with each other and figuring out who is best suited to do a role based off of our own abilities. But again, my relationship with my wife is different than my relationship with God. My relationship with God, I need to look at who God is, because his nature is different than ours, right? I'm going to have a different relationship with God because he has a different nature versus a relationship I might have with another human, because we both have human nature. Even a relationship I might have with my guardian angel or some other angel, right? Our natures are different, and so that's going to inform how our relationship is. Think about the relationship a person might have with their dog or some other kind of pet. You're going to have a really close relationship, and there's no doubt that you have that kind of relationship, or you have a relationship. But because your natures are different, your relationship is going to be totally different, right? You're not going to relate with your dog the same way you're going to relate with your significant other. That's because your dog is a dog. They're not a human. They're not able to engage with you in the same capacity that a human is. Well, God is a significantly higher authority than we are, a higher power, a higher nature. He is a relationship by his nature. You know, the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit, they're all a relationship with each other. And there was no need for him to create us, right? There's nothing that we do better than God could do. It wouldn't make sense if I had a relationship with God to say, oh, well, hey, I will do the dishes because I'm better at washing the dishes. You know, my skills are better suited to washing dishes, and you clean up the kitchen because you're better at cleaning the kitchen. No, that doesn't make any sense. God is better at both. God designed what it means to clean a kitchen or to wash the dishes. Furthermore, God designed me as a person, us as people, as individuals, in every little detail that we have. God is better at making a person than people are. So then what kind of relationship could we have with God? If he's so much greater than us, what kind of relationship could we have? Well, it kind of comes down to, why did God make us at all? Like I said, he did not need to make us. He was perfectly happy and content without us. Well, he made us because he wanted to share his happiness. He made us because he wanted us to be happy too. So he made us with ways that we can be happy. Thomas Aquinas, when talking about heaven, talks about how it is the perfect fulfillment of all of our powers. I will be totally fulfilled in my ability to see and to hear and to taste, but also in my ability to think and rationalize. All right? Every power, everything that makes up the human was designed by God in some way that God could fulfill us and make us happy. In one of my previous videos, I talked about Catholic ethics and morality and how we don't have big, long lists of rules. It's just the way we understand reality and living in accordance with that reality. In the same way, God has set out how all reality should be, including what makes us happy. And part of that is him. In order for our intellect to be totally fulfilled, we need to unite it with the source of all knowledge, who is God. In order for our eyes to be totally fulfilled, it must be united with the source of all sight, which is God. And in such a way that all of our powers are totally united to God in those ways. So when we talk about obedience to God, it is not just saying God's a higher power and so he can tell us what to do. It's saying God has a nature and he is one way and he designed how everything else is. And so if we listen to that nature, if we are in accordance with the way God made things to be, then we'll be happy. Because then is when all of our powers will be totally fulfilled. That is when all of our being will be wholly united with its final purpose. Hey guys, thank you for watching this video. If you liked it, please give it a like. Throw your comments in the comment box. I try to reply to every comment. If you guys want to see more of these videos, especially throughout Lent, hit the subscribe button. That way I'll show up in your subscription feed. And if you hit the notification bell, YouTube will notify you when I upload more videos. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. Tell me what you think in the comments, and God bless.